Very good morning to one and all. Honorable expert, Mr. Amar Suleimani, sir, faculty members, and dear students. Welcome you all for the webinar on cloud computing. Cloud computing, as you all know, nowadays is used in almost all the fields. So we should be aware of the concepts and its applications. So today we are fortunate to have with us Amar Suleimani sir from SE Forge Vadodara. He is the IT head at SE Forge. He has a vast experience of around 27 years with expertise in business process analysis and integration, SAP implementation, support, and master data management. Sir has successfully executed 7 SAP implementations and effectively managed and installed IT infrastructure and applications while ensuring regulatory compliance at multiple sites. Currently, Sir has successfully led and completed 26 IT projects there with special emphasis on cost saving at SE Forge. Apart from SAP implementation and support, he is also responsible for SharePoint, Microsoft 365, infrastructure applications, IT projects, and also ISO audit compliance. Sir has also contributed as IT manager in companies like Alembic Pharmaceuticals, Schneider Electric India Private Limited, etc. Sir is continuously working since so many years to lead and drive the IT function for achieving strategic and quality solutions while ensuring an edge in innovation. So, without wasting any further time, I would like to invite Sir to share his expertise. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Uh, as Aparna ma'am has already said my introduction, this journey has been quite long. I started very early, so my experience is this much. Uh, all in all, a very practical experience I have been having, because the days when I started my computer journey, learning journey, basically it was just the inception of computers, and then I faced a lot of ups and downs in the industry, and due to the same I could learn a lot of things actually. So almost an all-rounder in the IT industry. It is because of the ups and downs which had come in. Like, when I started, it was a dot-com doom, so I had to learn multiple skills, but the major interest and specialization remains application, and now cloud, and one another area which I am exploring. So not nothing much more in my introduction. I'll straight away jump onto the presentation. Let us just one second. Yeah, so you all are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about cloud computing basically. Cloud computing is what many of us now already know what exactly is cloud computing, what all things are there in that, and do we actually know since when is cloud computing there in the market? Since when are we using the cloud computing? Uh, I'll put off my video. There is some lagging, so I'll put off my video. Okay. Yeah, so the cloud computing has been there since the inception of internet. In my old days, when we started, having internet, it was a very low speed. It was in kbps, right? So in those days, there was cloud, but it was not so much noticeable. So during the session, I'll talk more about that. Okay, during today's session, I'll talk not only about cloud and cloud computing. These are two different things, of course, but we'll try to share my experiences along with it. These theories and literatures is easily available on cloud. Yes, on cloud, yes. So what are going to be your key takeaways for the session? They will be your learnings from my experience, which I face during my day-to-day tasks and projects. Okay, what does cloud offer? What does cloud offer basically? Cloud offers anything and everything which is computable, which is computing. Like in olden days when there was a very low speed of internet, you used to do all the stuff on your desktop or laptop computer. Of course, those were very scarcely available at that time. All the computing which decades ago was done on a server or a PC now can now be taken to the cloud. It can be accessed via internet. Then I'm sorry, then can be anything like when I started learning computer, I was taught programming. Nowadays programming can be done, learned on YouTube. There are many education apps which is available. Most popular is which one? Byju's. So Vedanta, these are all apps where you can learn all these things sitting at home or sitting anywhere in the world. So this is how cloud has benefited. Cloud mainly and totally depends on what? Cloud mainly and totally depends on internet basically. It is nothing without internet. Via internet we access data which is located at remote locations anywhere in the world. Like for example your emails. Now in the olden days when I or we all must have started, email was there, Yahoo Mail was there, right? The first email ID I created my first email ID on Yahoo. So that time also internet was there. So this is a typical example of cloud. Emails are what they are all on cloud. They are located somewhere we don't know, and we are able to access it through anything, like through your mobile, through your laptop, anything. For us to understand it better and based on the way we use it, it has been divided into various. We call them public cloud, private cloud. These are the two major models of your cloud. There is a private cloud, there is a public cloud. Why these are existing? Why they are required? They are mainly required for your security purposes, the way we use it. Private cloud is there for a specific purpose for organizations and all. Private cloud is there. Public cloud is also there. Mainly organizations might be using public cloud, but then the application is quite specific. Like for each and every application or for all the application, public cloud cannot be used. In the same way, many applications like what we are using now for this session is a cloud. This session is also on cloud. Previously, we used to do all such sessions in a big hall on a stage or something, right? Now these have converted into webinars. This and many such applications make up the cloud. What is ultimate reason for cloud? No, the existence of cloud. Now, see, cloud computing, when we talk about computing is what? Computing is basically everything. Now, in my mind, when I'm taking this session, I am computing many things. When you are listening, you are computing many things. So our mind is also a sort of a computer, right? So without computing, nothing reaches your computer screen or your mobile. So there is a process which keeps on computing continuously to show you data, to show you some presentation, or show you anything. So computing is always there and everywhere there, right? So internet is also a result of computing. It comes through your firewall. Firewall does what? It does computing. It comes through a service provider like Jio. Like what do they do? They compute it. They give you a specific speed. How? By computing. So computing is everywhere. So cloud computing is what? What is cloud computing then? Cloud computing is the same computing taken to a cloud, taken to a common data center where the software and the hardware work together to provide us a network service. Network is what? Network is again internet, right? So a typical cloud computing architecture would be what? Now you can imagine your data center. If you all have seen, in my company there used to be a data center wherein there were plenty of servers, a computer, storage devices, many things were there, and maintenance of that and all that stuff has to be done manually by us. If anything goes down or up, we have to run day and night to keep it up. All this infrastructure which used to be there locally has now been shifted to a particular data center which can be called as a cloud. Now, since that infrastructure is not visible to us, we call it a cloud. So this is basically a cloud. That is why we call it as a cloud. So due to the inception of cloud, now there are many things which can be accessed by desktop, through your mobile, and through a feature phone also. Through a feature phone also, there are many features which are available, which you can access your cloud through that feature phone too. Now, what can be the basic concepts? What are the basics of it? So what would be the basics of it? To understand this complex jargons, we need to divide into separate models. Now, on cloud, there are two deployment models basically. There is a deployment model infrastructure wise, and there is a service model. Now, infrastructure is given. There are many forms in which the infrastructure can be taken on cloud, and there are many services which are required. Like for our local data center, there are many services which are required, like the maintenance, the troubleshooting, and then many more things are there. The internet service and many things are there which can be taken as a service. The software mainly are there which can be taken as a service. So there are certain services and models working behind the scenes, making the cloud computing feasible. There are mainly 4 deployment models: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. What are these 4 clouds? Hello? Aparna ma'am, can you confirm whether you all are able to hear me? Hello? Okay, I'll continue. So these deployment models are there for a specific reason, for the specific application of the cloud. Now, public cloud basically is there for applications which can be accessed by the world. But in this case, what happens is the security becomes a risk. Now, your application, if there is a critical data which you want to share it in a public cloud, it will be difficult. It should not be done that way. So for the same reason, private cloud exists. Private clouds are what? Private clouds are specific for the organization needs, which have more high security. It is not available to the public. If you try to access my application of my organization, you won't be able to access because it's a private cloud. Hybrid cloud is just there to reduce your cost. Basically, what organization want is to reduce the cost and to have maximum features and facilities. So for that, hybrid cloud is available. In this, what we normally do is if I share my example of my organization, we have SAP S4 HANA as a cloud. Now that is an ERP application. Now if I start hosting it to a public cloud, then my private data can be hacked and it can be visible to the user, to the world, which an organization won't want. So we have divided into 2. We have one private cloud where our ERP is stored, and a public cloud where our office emails and everything are stored. Of course, office emails are secured in a different way. So that public and that private is again has some sections. Okay. In community cloud, it is like your emails and everything, your chatting, your everything is a community cloud. This also basically is there for saving of cost. Now in community cloud, there are many organizations which are accessing the same thing, but in their own spaces. So that is what is community cloud. So going a little deeper into public cloud, the public cloud allows systems and services to be easily accessible to the general public. So as I said, it is easily available to the general public, hence less secured. Private cloud, of course, is more secured. So private, and because of its private nature, it is more secured. Anybody cannot access my private data and all. Community cloud, as I said, is a group of organizations which are accessing the same thing. You can take an example of a CRM software, where many companies might be using the same CRM software, but they're in their own spaces. Hybrid cloud, as I said, my CRM, which has to be given to the customers which are world around. So my CRM would be hosted on a public cloud, but the data and everything will be stored on a private cloud. So it is secured, and they both are connected via a specific security measure. So that is how a hybrid cloud is. Some part is on public area, and some part is in a private area. That private area can be your your own data center also. So now service model. Now there are different service models. Now for deployment models, there are service models. Service models means everything and anything is based as given to you as a service, like your infrastructure. Now here there are many advantages and disadvantages. Of course, we'll talk about advantages first. In infrastructure as a service, what happens is in your infrastructure, there are various things like your servers, like your network, like your LAN, WAN, and all those stuff. All that stuff is infrastructure, which now has been taken to the cloud, which means now only the virtual machines of those servers are being made available to you, and you are going to install your applications and everything on an IaaS service model, and you are going to use your services, your software, your application, like SAP S/4HANA, which we are using. No, we have taken IaaS services, wherein all the infrastructure and everything, all the services have been outsourced to the partner, and we are just bothered using only our ERP system. So this is what we are doing as an IaaS. But we do have a PaaS also, which is platform as a service. Now see, SAP S/4HANA is not a small ERP. It is a big ERP. So there are various VMs which are there. There are multiple applications, multiple OSs, multiple things which are involved. So platform as a service comes into picture when such a scenario is there. SAP S/4HANA has various multiple hardware, multiple software, multiple things. So it can be categorized as PaaS, where the whole platform I have taken as a service. And of course, software as a service. Now, software as a service is something which we all know about. Your emails are what? Behind the scenes, they are softwares. And we are using those email softwares to communicate. So that is, but then they are subscription based. Now, there are free emails also available like Gmail. In the same way, there are Microsoft services which are available, in which there is Exchange server, which is a paid service. So we take subscription of only the Exchange server, and we have a SaaS model in front of us, which is SaaS, which is software as a service. So infrastructure as a service, as I explained, it is the delivery of the technology infrastructure, and the biggest advantage is that it is scalable. Now in IaaS, why should an organization be going? Say for example, I have a website on which I am selling many products like Amazon.in, right? So what happens in that is you know, uh, there can be lot of traffic or there can be very less traffic at times. Like in Black Friday days, there will be a hell lot of traffic on that. So what will happen? The server will load up. So this IaaS model gives the solution for that. What happens is when there is a lot of traffic, it scales up automatically. Then when there is low traffic, it scales down automatically. So what happens? It saves on cost. That is what the biggest advantage of IaaS services. Your hardware is virtualized and it can scale up or scale down anytime whenever it is required. It can be manual or automatic also. The examples can be these. Now see, OP Source, GoGrid, Blizzard, AT&T, Terremark, Entity Communication. This can be all the examples of IaaS, right? Platform as a service, as I spoke already, provides the runtime environment for applications. Now see, the best example which can be given here is your development cycle. All the big software houses, like even I think Microsoft itself, it might be using its own Azure platform to do all the development which it is doing. The development, the programs, the different modules and everything are stored in a central place where anybody of the developers can access that. There are lots and lots of testers which would be doing the testing. Now when there is a time for load testing, there is in a software development cycle there are many phases. First there is a development life cycle wherein the developer, the coding is there, then the testing is there, then the deployment is there. After deployment, the testing cycle begins where there is alpha testing, beta testing, and the final stage testing. So all these can be done on this platform and can be automated. There are many tools now available in the same platform as a service where all these things can be configured in such a way so that most of the things can be automated. Now for automation, Dockers can be used, which again is a PaaS service. Okay, these services are multi-tenant services. What is multi-tenant basically? My organization is accessing the same services like the development server and all, Dockers, for example. Now my Docker and the other organization's Docker cannot mix up. So they have been divided into tenants. They have different spaces, different storage in the platform. So my data and their data does not get mixed. So that is what multi-tenant basically is. And of course, the scalability remains from the IaaS model into the PaaS model, platform as a service. The scalability remains. So as and when, and now it can be again automated or it can be manual. But mainly in PaaS, it is automated only. But we have to opt for it. These are the examples for PaaS examples like Azure. Of course, everybody knows Azure, Amazon Web Services, AWS, we call it popularly. It is what? It is the same. Salesforce again is it's a CRM kind of a platform, but it does much more than a CRM, of course. So these are few examples of a platform as a service. Now, software as a service is a smaller service than a platform as a service. In platform, all the hardware, network, everything comes into picture. Now, in software as a service, it's only one software which we would be accessing. For example, again, the email example can be taken here. But for cost saving purposes, mainly the software as a service is being taken because say for example again CRM. Now it is only the CRM which we want to use. So what we'll do, we cannot start having a server and all that stuff again for the same small CRM service. So what we'll do is we'll take it as a service from a company which is an expert in maintaining that. They have all the server, all the infrastructure, everything which is required to run that CRM service, and we just buy a subscription. Our data again is maintained into a multi-tenant environment where my data and the other organization's data may not mix ever. So this is and we are built on the usage basis basically. Now billing models can be different. It can be subscription basis, monthly basis, or it can be user based. So all different companies might have different models for billing. So that is where the advantage comes when we go for a SaaS as a service. SaaS. Examples for the same. Now, as I said, Salesforce. Salesforce is a very famous CRM software where it can be used for multiple purposes, as well as it can be used for a software as a service, like only CRM area. Google, everybody knows these Google apps are used on daily basis by us. Like right now I am doing this on Google Meet, right? It's what? It is a software as a service. Now the free version is for us, we are using it, but the paid version is also there for Google Meet, and it is for corporates. It's having a different name, but it is there. Facebook, of course, Facebook, everybody knows Facebook is what? Facebook is an example of SaaS. These are the few examples of our daily life cloud. Dropbox, the first one is Dropbox. Kindle, the second most famous one. What do? We read books. We read books through Kindle. Google Play. Every day, thousands of people amongst us are downloading what? Applications from Google Play. What is that? That is a cloud. All the applications reside at one place. YouTube, Netflix nowadays have become very popular. How? The movies are on the cloud. Whenever you want, you pick up a movie and start watching it. It's cloud. Google Drive. What is Google Drive? It is your files on a remote location we don't know. It's Google Drive. Flickr, Gmail, Yahoo, even eBay. How eBay is the oldest e-commerce cloud available. The oldest one, eBay. Initially, when there was nothing, there was eBay. So the best and the oldest example can be eBay. Of course, people know Twitter. Twitter is always there. Twitter is the most popularly used social media platform actually. The advantages and disadvantages are many. Now here things are dicey. Here, based on your practical experience and the way the India model works, I'll specifically say India model, okay, works. The cost depends basically. Cost depends on the organization's policy and everything. If we talk about lower computer cost, yes, at few organizations who believe that every 5 years or every life cycle of the hardware should be changed or upgraded, or it should be new, then such a scenario, there can be definitely a lower computer cost, because these big data centers who are so-called clouds are doing what? They keep on refreshing their hardware because they are getting paid for that. So their cost, and they are also buying in bulk. So their hardware cost, maintenance cost, and everything is, it is just a part and parcel. So daily basis, they keep on upgrading their hardware and refreshing their hardware. But if we talk about a smaller organization where a typical server life cycle would be of 5 years, but then these guys might be using it for 10 years or maybe more. So in such a scenario, what will happen? Now the cost is this particular medium organization, smaller organization having a local data center, the cost is much more lower than a cloud. but then you compromise on the performance, of course, because you cannot so freely keep on upgrading and upgrading the server. So gradually the performance reduces. So this will happen. Performance will reduce. A 10-year-old server, after 5 years, the spares and everything won't be available. So on the seventh year, if you see that an upgrade is required, you may not be able to do that. So this is one place where if it was in cloud, of course, you always have the latest hardware and net things running. So you always have a perfect performance. But in a local cloud, it may not. Reduce software costs. Yes, software cost on the cloud definitely is less, because they have shared licenses model available, wherein they might be having software licenses on core basis or maybe on user basis. So my organization has, say, suppose 100 users, and the other organization has 300 users. So the license can be divided into, so I can get the benefit of 100 user license, not paying for the whole stuff. So this is one area where the cost is definitely good on a cloud. Instant software upgrades. Now in a typical small or mid-size or on any organization, if you talk about upgrading an operating system, how are we able to do it? It is very difficult, right? To upgrade an OS, first of all, the availability of the hardware, the PC, the desktop is required. If you talk about servers, yes, again the server availability is required. The downtime is not available. Here on cloud, the software, the compute and everything is maintained in such a way, and there are redundancies which are maintained. So when you do a maintenance or when you do an upgrade, you won't even feel that an upgrade has happened. But in an organization where there is a local data center, you might require a downtime of hours or maybe a day or maybe more. So this is one area where cloud gives us a big advantage, that instant software updates are available. For my organization example, if I give Office 365, what happens? Office 365, Microsoft keeps on updating it daily basis. So I am always on the latest version. So that is the advantage, right? Improve document format compatibility. Office 365 nowadays, if I start accessing a PDF file through my Word or anything, yes, I can do it. Whatever version may be there, my Word or my Office 365, any of the software will definitely open it. But when it comes to a local, yes, you cannot do that. So that is again an advantage. But the flip side of updated software is that all the features in any organizations are never used. Office 365, there are many applications, out of which half of them we are using, not all of them we are using. If you talk about a particular user, one user might be using only emails and access, nothing else. So for that particular user, rest everything is not required, it's a waste. So what is the use of the latest updates also when he doesn't require it? He might be using in an Excel, he might be using only VLOOKUPs and all. So rest all the updates are of no use. So this is a flip side, is a disadvantage of that. So, but yes, in terms of storage, if you talk about, yes, you have unlimited storage. Whenever you want, you scale it up. If my organization has 1 TB, when it exceeds, I can just jump to 2 TB and nothing is seen. Nobody feels the difference. It is 2 TB available. It is just a click away and 2 TB is available. So that is how it is. Reliability is the most important factor in cloud. Wherever I am in the world, now see, when there was, when we were mobile and when we used to move here and there for our official purposes, like we have a plant in Coimbatore. When I go from here to there, I can start accessing. Of course, I have a laptop, but then if I didn't had a laptop, I was not crippled by my data being here in Vadodara. I can access that in Coimbatore also. So reliability in everything is there. Scalable, location wise, there is no issues. So reliability becomes more, and the data is not going to go anywhere. I'm sorry, because it is being maintained by what? It is maintained by the third party, whoever he is maintaining it. So it is their job to give me 100% availability of my data. So in terms of reliability, yes, there is a big advantage. Universal document access, of course, as I spoke already, latest version availability. I told you the advantages and disadvantages of both of it. Then easier group collaboration. My Vadodara plant and my Coimbatore plant, they can easily interact. Platform given by Office 365. There is no limitation on time. The performance is very good. So it is that way. So easier group collaboration. So wherever you are there in the world, through these tools and means, you can always communicate to each other. Device independence. Of course, they have to be device independent. It is very obvious. Like my laptop is running Windows. Maybe your laptop is running or your device is running iOS. So these services won't be available to iOS or to a Windows. No, it is available. Why? Because they are all available through a browser. And browsers are very, very device independent. A Chrome browser works on an iOS in the same way it works on Windows. So everybody knows Chrome, right? So it is that way. So because of the usability of browser usage of browser, basically these devices become device independent, OS independent, mainly. So you use a iOS hardware, whatever hardware it is available to you. Disadvantages. Now the biggest disadvantage will be what? If there is no internet, you are doomed. You cannot access anything. So you have to wait for your services to return back till your internet service is available. Then does not work well with low speed connections. So if you are in an area where internet speed is low, then what are you going to do? Now, for example, you are using a Wi-Fi dongle. What happens? In many areas, the network speed is very low or as good as not available. So there you won't be able to use these services. So cloud becomes unavailable when internet is unavailable. Due to the same few features which are heavy on internet bandwidth may not be available or may be limited. Like, for example, if we are doing a web meeting, there are few videos of few participants which are very, very crisp and we are able to see them very clearly. But on the other hand, few are not visible properly. Why? Because of the bandwidth issue, mainly because of the bandwidth issue. So speed and slowness is then always there. Stored data can also be lost on a cloud. Now, cloud, as I said earlier, there are various models. There is one such model which is called co-location model. Co-location is only their area and their space. My hardware will be shifted to their location, but rest everything will be done by my people, myself, my organization. So what happens if there is something, say totally everything is my responsibility or organization's responsibility, so if anything happens to that hardware, then I may lose my data. Of course, for Azure also, or for Office 365, or for G Suite, they can also lose data, because ultimately it is the data center behind the scenes. So if there is any natural calamity, your data is lost. A data center can be destroyed by a natural calamity. What will happen? Your data will be lost. Yes, there are ways by which this has been overcome today. They have multiple copies of the same data. Disaster recovery is a term which is used, basically wherein the data is backed up or stored at multiple locations, multiple geolocations basically. So what happens is, if a particular tsunami or an earthquake hits a particular area, your data is in a different area which saves your data. But ultimately still there is a threat that your stored data can be lost. Like you lost your mobile, your data is lost, right? The similar fashion, manner maybe. Okay. Stored data might not be secure. Now, this is the most biggest disadvantage. There are, many attacks being done. Many attacks are happening. Viruses are there. Trojans are there. Ransomwares are there. These days, the latest thing, which is the most unpredictable thing, is ransomware. Ransomware are targeted for a particular audience, and once you have it, you have lost, all your data is encrypted. What are you going to do? You are helpless against a ransomware. Of course, for viruses and Trojans, there are antivirus tools available. But hacking and everything, DDoS attack, there are many attacks which are being done. Now, these cloud services can also be done. You must have heard about Azure services, maybe a year back were down because of a DDoS attack. Gmail was down a few months, a few years later. Few years before. So it can happen that your services, your stored data might not be secured because it may leak. Now your personal data, like the many news had come for Aadhaar concern. Now what was that? That was a data leak. Your data is stored in a cloud environment where it can get leaked. So these are there are many more examples of such insecure data, data leaks and everything. There are many cloud storages which are available. Now this is very simple. This is like cloud storage is like SkyDrive initially used to be there. Of course, now it is not so popular. Now Dropbox is very popular. 15 GB for free. OneDrive is popular because it gives, I think, 10 GB for free. So these are all cloud storages where we can store our data. There are different types of cloud storages also. So these are various cloud storages which can be accessed. And now these cloud storages, they give many more facilities also. You must have noticed that when you are storing your photograph on your mobile, now it is being copied to a cloud storage where your photos are processed, and sometimes it is giving you a bouquet of photos, memories, in the name of memories, basically, that this particular date you were here and here. What that is cloud storage. Download for a storage. Now there are many files which are there which I need to keep somewhere, and I need to access it anywhere. Now in my organization, I have to share files and data between two locations, Vadodara and Coimbatore, right? So what? How do I do it? I can use this. Now these storage locations, they give download to them. I upload it from here, they can download it. I want to share share one file. So I can share it with anybody. Now there are many reasons now. No, through email also files can be shared, but there is a limitation of what? There is limitation of size. Here in this, if there is a 10 GB file, of course you can use this drive. A 10 GB file can be uploaded and they can download it. The 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 biggest advantage of such storages are that you can put your important files as a backup. I in my laptop I have installed OneDrive of my organization. All my files mainly are stored in that. I have 1 TB of data which is synced daily basis. Not exactly daily basis. It is real time basis. It is being saved. If I change a file, it is backed up out there on the cloud. So I always have a safe copy on the cloud, which I can again download anytime. So if my laptop is misfortunately stolen or crashed or something, I have all my data on the cloud. Whenever I want, I can spin up a new laptop and I can start downloading all my data, even my emails, everything. They all can be put on the cloud. So this is how it is. There are many games which can be created using these storages, wherein you get a free storage and your game can be used by multiple users. So there are n number of applications for it. These are just a few I could tell you. So the cloud can be accessed from internet. Okay, I'll just share one of my biggest difficulties in my career, wherein I have newly started learning this cloud concept. What happened that time is, the cloud infrastructure for a particular service or OS or an implementation was having multiple VMs. There were 10 VMs which were proposed, and the cost used to skyrocket for that. The same project, the same application was very much manageable by only one VM. The cost reduced to whooping 100% cost reduction. Almost 90% cost reduction was there. So it was like, the way you implement, the way you understand, the way you can use the cloud. There are many organizations which might, for safety purposes, have multiple servers. You can have even one. It is safer that way. So this is all cloud which I wanted to tell you all about. I'll end my session here. Thank you all for the same. These are few of my links. I'll tell Aparna ma'am to share, maybe if she can. My Facebook link. Anybody having anything to share or maybe anything to learn, he is welcome at any of these links or locations, and I'll be happy to help them out. Practically, I can help you all out anytime. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for such a wonderful session, and it was so informative with live examples and your experience that you shared with our students. So now I declare that the session is concluded. And before that, I would like to thank the head of our institute, Dr. Jatin Vaidya sir, head of the IT department, Mrs. Vidita Patel madam, head of the computer engineering department, Mrs. Poonam madam. And I thank you really from bottom of my heart, sir, for sparing your valuable time and enlightening our students and faculty members. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the students who have joined this webinar and it got benefited from it. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.